Hello, everyone. It's Art Russell here at Think Twice on YouTube and thinktwice.me at wordpress.com. I hope that this video finds everyone well and that you're interested in hearing some more information about our essential nature beyond name and form. I'm sure that at least a few of you realize by now that this is my passion, my purpose, to share information that I hope will help lead you toward your own direct recognition of true self. So let's begin with a word: transformation, to change form. There's a law of the universe that relates that energy is in perpetual transmutation, always changing form. So let's begin with a couple of examples. Pick this up today just for this video presentation. So there, I hope you can see, not too much glare, a packet of corn seed. Now, there we go. So we know, or many of us do, that when we plant this corn seed in the right conditions and we water it and there's the right amount of sunshine and rain, the proper conditions, that this is going to transmute. It's going to change into a corn plant, which is then going to bear corn. This is so natural, we can often take it for granted. So here's another example. Okay. And of course, the same applies to these. There we go. We know that we plant that seed at the right depth, water it, the right amount of sunshine. It's going to grow into pea plants that yield peas for us to eat. And aren't we lucky that that's the way that occurs? In both. Very fortunate. Now, you might ask yourself how this applies to oneness, which is our essential nature. Humans, or the human perspective, we can get stuck in the human perspective where we want it to remain, or some people do, stuck in the same position, the level. We see this even as it relates to people with aging. Somebody doesn't want that 40th birthday. Instead of being grateful that we've been able to reach that or look forward to it, we may be grumbling about it. We want to maybe have the same fitness level at 60 that we have at 20 or had at 20. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't look after our body minds. We should be the caretaker of them, right? But when people get stuck at a level of development, they may be unaware that the form, they identify with being the form, so they want that to be this never-ending form. 100, 120, how old can we push this limit? So they suffer if there's incapacitation that comes or health problems. What I'm saying in this video and some of my other ones is that there's a deeper dimension of ourself that's waiting to be born. It's here already. It's actually what we are. Another example of this would be the caterpillar. Now, none of us really expect the caterpillar to remain as a caterpillar. We know that it's meant to develop into the butterfly. We see its beauty in that. There's beauty within each and every one of us. It's often referred to in the Bible as the pearl of great price. You have to dive deep, turn our attention inward to find it. We find that we are consciousness, spirit, temporarily residing apparently in the human form. It appears that way. We confusion of identity relating to being just the body and the mind, body, mind in spiritual terms, or the person, that if we stay at that level of development, we're going to suffer. Why? Not because life is mean. It's not. We're intended to learn lessons here, but what we've seen is that the perspective of the person is very unstable. One day, 1 week, 1 year, everything seems to be fine. Now, the human perspective, humans like to have things level. Now, that can ultimately be also kind of boring to some. Ultimately, probably would be to all. If you'd identified with being the same person for so many years and living the same pattern over and over, I think most of us would tire of it. But our suffering comes when we want marriages or careers or our body minds to stay the same in an ever-changing field. And we know that. We even see it represented in the figure eight. This transmutation of form, perpetual. So to find our deeper dimension, what's required is that we turn our attention, which is usually focused outward, apparently outward, and doing our best to have good conditions and circumstances for this apparent form, that we give very little, if any, attention inward, where we ask, what is it that knows this internal world? What is it that knows the body? What is it that knows the mind? That's waiting to be born knowingly. In the Hindu tradition, this is referred to as Jivan Mukta, which means liberated while living. It means that we've come to the realization of what we truly are beyond who. Art is just a name to refer to this form. Same in a way you could say with, do we really need to call that a P? Could have another name. The name cannot be the thing. It only refers to that which it really is. It's just a term. So moving on here. I'd like to share too that Eckhart Tolle, who's a well-known spiritual teacher, became liberated from the delusional belief in being the person when he was 29, in and around the age of 29. One night he describes, in a book entitled The Power of Now, describes this experience. He had been living with a state of constant dread and anxiety. See, again, there's the human perspective, suffering. That false I was saying, I don't like this at all, and it was winding up Eckhart over and over and over again. Very little peace from that perspective. And I remember in his book, The Power of Now, he wrote that he either heard a voice or felt this of resist nothing. Now that's wise advice. Resist nothing. That doesn't mean to just go with the flow of somebody throws you this or drugs or whatever. It does not mean that. It means to accept the flow of life as it comes to you and through you. And that's not just being the body mind. That's not saying, okay, I'm fine at 50, 60, 70, but still believing you're the person. If that's the case, we haven't really blossomed into the butterfly. When we know that we are spirit, consciousness, arising on its own, transforming into the form. Most people have been conditioned to believe that consciousness arises out of the noggin, the head, the brain. If we look up online the hard problem of consciousness and the name David Chalmers, we will see that Neurologists, scientists have not been able to explain how that occurs. I'm stating, with many others, they never will find that arising from that. Consciousness is the foundation of our being. What I'm saying in this video too is, can we learn to trust the process of life itself? That we actually are life. To awaken, to be liberated from the belief that we are the person. Now, another term, let's go deeper into this. When this happens, what we learn is that a transformation in our awareness has taken place. We realize that we're much more than the man or the woman. We're actually God incarnate, sometimes referred to as Christ consciousness, a higher degree of consciousness realized here, or Buddha nature is another term. Now, I want to be very clear about this. This is not saying that from that egoic point of view that we think we're God. That gets really ugly, and that would have like a dictator or somebody who really thinks that they have the power over all others. When we awaken to this deeper knowing, when we're being what we truly are, we actually are it already. It's just there's been layers of delusion that have covered our awareness of that. When this occurs, when we awaken to the truth of our being, we recognize that in everyone else. There's the safe spot. And we have a term for it, namaste. I honor the greatness that is you. And someone may gesture that way to us too. They recognize it in us. If you've enjoyed some of the material in this video, I'd ask if you please want to subscribe to this channel or click a like. You can also find out more information about this fascinating subject of our true nature in my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones, available through Amazon. And I'll leave you today with a final quote. And I think from this point of view, from what I've shared today, this may help you make sense of it. The saying is, it takes one to know one. We're all connected despite it appearing as so many different forms, variety of different forms going by various names. We're all of these are arising in consciousness, known by consciousness, created out of consciousness. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.